really count compLexity out. So, it's impossible to know.
No, absolutely, we should not count anybody else in this. That is for sure. All right, here we go. G2 will be starting on the CT side. I think it will be. I can't wait to see Shox with an AK. That's one thing. Shox and Body on AK-47s, I think, are going to be really awesome as well. In terms of fragging power, I think it's a reasonable argument to say that this is not quite a G2 of old as far as the AKs are concerned. So I think the French teams on cashing would be even more apparent with the likes of NBK and Apex here, but unfortunately for them, they're not. So anyway, we'll see what compLexity can do. They will start on the T side. It's just going to be straight into the B bomb site, it seems.
Well, goodbye, good night. Stanislaw Body turning up for the first frag, and now Shox is on the rotation. Existence trying to create some spaces, some distraction, ply away Android from this choke point, but it's not quite working out as he wants. Bomb will be planted in G2. Do they have any utility really here? Existence has an incendiary. I don't know if there's a lineup or any kind of retake incendiary that he has in his mind to help out this situation. We'll have to see. He might get tossed into the back of the bomb site here, push Ye out of position. Indeed, he's into the open. Oh, that is a great way to come out into the open. Just frags Existence. We'll get traded out though as the CTs push onto the site.
Bomb continues to tick. Shox is the one with a kit, but there are too many players alive, and this is going to be a problem. There's just too many man. They've got to push the checkers position, but they don't have the time to go there and come back, and that's going to be a round for compLexity. Maybe taking G2 off guard, because you just don't expect just a rush B, essentially, and that managed to work out for compLexity. Now, there are retake smokes you can do to make your life a hell of a lot easier on the pistol rounds. I forget what team it was, but I did make a video of a retake. If you have one smoke, I think people should on the B bomb site, because when the bomb is planted for checkers in that position, you only need to smoke out one of the two places. So they have to go really deep and be completely exposed to stop you from trying to defuse the bomb. You can throw it from lower and higher, but more about that later. We did see a fantastic pop flash from Existence in the vent, actually, which just dripped through. So that's one to learn as well. And that's only round number 1, Dan.
And one thing I'm excited about is Shox, I was going to say, and seeing whether he'll be anchoring that A side at all in this matchup. He is disgusting when it comes to playing these like 1vx situations around boxes, but it's getting bad here for compLexity. They may have to go for the desperation push. Lost 2 players already. They will be able to gain position though. They'll buy position with the lives of a couple of players, and that's fine. Shox though, now out there with a Deagle looking for the angle. The head spotted, and he will be swatted as well. Beautiful from Shox, but still 2 players to go. Can they really do this? Kenny and Shox, the 2 stars of the team, against Ye and Android here, lying in wait for the AKs. Ye with a very good position. Kenny is going to go down. Shox has information, but he'll no longer have his head. Ye will close it down, but that was scary, James. That's a shot across the bow.
Those are warning shots. Indeed, they are. Yeah, that's a very good description, Dan. Those are warning shots. Firing. I actually watched some videos of people defending boats from Somali terrorists. And it's right. Insane on YouTube, but
as you do,
that's actually quite the segue. So let's just go back into the Counter-Strike, shall we? G2, G2 on a pistol. Just when you said across the bow, I was just thinking, it just reminded me of that. Anyway, we've got Desert Eagles out again for G2 on the likes of Shox and Existence. And this is just a warm-up. This is just a warm-up. Android is not best equipped for a long-range engagement with the MAC-10. Now down to 28 HP. He has to wonder if he has become bait. Will the CTs chase him down? You can see Def and Stanislaw are holding angles to support Android and keep him alive. Perhaps expecting the CTs to move in towards mid and take him out, which would make the round easier for compLexity, but G2 will take no such bait.
Just running that anti-eco here, compLexity. That's one thing to note, you know, what the drills are like on this map for them, and how clean it can look. They definitely need to clean around after the previous one, and Shox has a Deagle again. Although he's not getting any early kills as he did previously. Body will though with that USP, and that's definitely a good start. Things are looking a bit laboured, and G2 are using this time to reposition with the pistols, and maybe things could get a bit more awkward here. compLexity will be on the bomb side and holding off these choke points, so things aren't looking too bad. I wonder if Android hates the fact that Game of Thrones is a thing, James. His name being Bradley Fodor. Because probably every time he says that, people are like, oh, is that like Hodor? That's probably very annoying.
Well, you can mess with it and say like Fedor.
Fedor. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that could be a good way around it. Just pretend to be very
up.
posh. Yeah, that's good. It's creative thinking, James. Out of the box. You're out of the box.
F. Oda.
Okay, now you're back. Now you're very far away from the box, James. Too far away.
The box can no longer be seen. 3-0 for compLexity. That's the start they wanted. Getting best of ones, the pistols will be even more crucial. KennyS on the AWP, and he's naked. He's in the nude, as you can often find French people on a beach.
Naked nudist.
He will be very far away though, so he won't be as susceptible to grenades depending on where he chooses to engage from. So this is a common issue on the second round of catch for a CT side. You can see the limitation in grenades. If you go for that fourth buy round number 2, it really leaves you ill-equipped to have all the control you might otherwise have liked to have. And looking at Stanislaw's lineup as depicted by Monsieur Sliggy, showing us the build-up of the round. This may show some intentions as to what compLexity have in mind. Where is that smoke going? It seems we may soon find out. Again, the timing of compLexity here may just take G2 completely by surprise while they're trying to set up for a boost. They've got 2 people just stuck in this position, including the AWP, but Kenny Sorbalat manages to land a shot. Trades all over the place, but the sight is with compLexity.
That could have been really bad. But they do go 3v3 here, so this is salvageable by G2 despite the awkwardness of that situation. Flashes over the top here to get CTs closer to the bomb site. As we do get the plant, it's precious time here for the CTs. They have a kit on body as well as a smoke, so that smoke could be used to, again, close the distance even more. And compLexity don't have any smokes to throw to deny G2 forward positioning, so there's a real chance here now as G2 start to move forwards. But can they make this work? Stanislaw gonna be... Oh, that is fantastic. Great flick coming in from Stan, and body, this may be too difficult indeed. We close down, Stan does the damage.
Really nice. Good attempt there from body, visualizing the trade frag, and if the player in main had peeked, he probably would have just got taken out by that pre-fire from body, but the second frag is so important here for Stanislaw. Really, really important. Great flick from him. And what I think we have seen so far in these very, very early rounds from compLexity is they're probably expecting a more cerebral approach from G2, some time to set things up. As it used to be telegraphed before the existence level teams broke up on their T side, especially on catch where they'd be setting up behind the smoke and you see somebody flank and just wipe everybody out. It seems like compLexity are going for fast plays before G2 can get into the comfortable positions which they want to engage with. And it seems here we go for another fast round. Molotovs all over the A site, and the whole team are here.
Bit of damage from Kenny. So, there's more damage coming in onto these compLexity players, but no frags yet. That said, Kenny just finds a headshot onto Shazam. Kenny gets the AWP as well, but he can't get the shot up to keep himself alive. But Shox in a forward position. He'll be shut down off the trade. And G2, always dangerous, it seems, although compLexity will get the round regardless. Yeah,
that was interesting. compLexity had Shazam by the forklift position on his own, which is great. He's got the range of the AWP towards the car position, but if people are close to the smoke already, if they're in a highway position, then he could be in some trouble there. He didn't have any rifle support, so that is something that they may want to look at for a future round. You saw KennyS, I think he may have ran through the smoke expecting people to focus on the site, picked off Shazam and picked up the AWP, had a close engagement. I think he was unlucky to miss that. If he gets that frag, then we may have seen a very different round there for G2, so that's certainly something for compLexity to review. But the fact of the matter is that it's a 5-0 scoreline in favour of compLexity, and G2 needs to get on the board quickly.
Indeed, indeed. Can be tough, that CT side sometimes, especially against a team that knows their cache. It was funny when cache first came out, it was very CT-sided. And it switched all the way around to becoming a bit T-sided. As teams learned how to better play against those CT rotations and set up set pieces and so on and so forth. Either way, we'll have G2 making their presence known on mid very close here from Shock, so he won't be anchoring that A-bomb site. Instead, that'll be the job of KennyS, who is alone with the AWP, has the help of Existence on rotation on highway. And Smiths will be playing with body here on the B-bomb site. This is scary stuff. It looks like compLexity want to burst into that B site. The setup will have to be key in doing damage for G2.
Look at that. That's a perfect pop flash. No warning. Not bouncing off anything. Everybody's lining up a flashbang off the wall, actually. There is the flash, which will buy some time, but it hasn't flashed everybody. And he doesn't know how many people are there, I don't think. Molotovs and someone coming in. Shox commits to this, instantly traded. He's only got limited information for body, who is blind once again. The flashbangs just keep coming. But KennyS is here. He has body's cross now. But from the vent position comes Stanislaw, and he just about gets the frag.
Can he do anything here? They're going to rotate back to A. They know he's moved position towards this B bomb site, and there's no reason they need to go and challenge into him when they can just get a free plant towards A. So Kenny now has a lot of decisions to make, or maybe just two, and it's either go for this or not. Sam will shut him down, and it was a good round from compLexity. They were very confident sitting in there because it was awkward. Body played it so well. I mean, if we consider how long we were on Body's POV, how long he stayed alive, and him staying alive there is preventing compLexity from moving into the bomb site.
Trivia: Stanislaw's name in Polish would be pronounced Stanisław, and I believe he is of Polish descent. Is he not? Otherwise I wouldn't say that. It must be true. G2 on the pistols again. That previous run was their first buy with, like, I'd say with proper utility, so their first full buy, but alas, it was to no avail. Okay, Smith, that's a very good start. That's a very good start. Dan enjoyed that one. He's a fan of the Deagle.
He was in the air, James. He was airborne.
He was, but they need a lot more than that. 4 players still alive for compLexity, and they start to cut the numbers of G2. Kenyes making an effort, and Shock's looking for something with his own Deagle. Almost taking Android out, and now it's Existence versus 3. Wow. Nothing doing. 7-0 compLexity. This is a monstrous start, but it's not too late for G2. I mean, G2 could lead the round 8-7 at half time. It's nice, but they got a big fat 0.
They were actually, G2 were very close to being able to win that round. Like, the timing's just, if like Shocks, if the second bullet connects from Shocks, for example, on when he hit his Deagle spray, or if the T's are milliseconds slower, like, you know, half a second slower into the bomb site.
That's going for the peak and mid. He has the forward spawn for it, so if anyone's trying to cross, that's a very fast smoke from the CT side. And there's aggression now. G2 changing up the pace, but I think Existence, I'm not sure, he may have just been seen crossing, but either way, compLexity know that main has been compromised. So G2 are stopping the fast plays from compLexity. We've got aggressive smokes from both teams outside the B bomb site, and we have a take of main from G2. So compLexity's initial plan, which has got him to the 7-0 scoreline, has been stopped for now.
Kenny is looking to see what he can do with this deep angle, and he may be able to get a flick on. Oh, wow.
What
Yay.
is that?
I don't even know how that works, but it does. Ye's going to push forwards with it. Kenny S was the anchor on the bomb side. Smith tries to do what he can to slow things down, but this is an instant save, it might be, from G2. They've lost the bomb site. They've got very limited ways to get back in unless Shocks can get a couple kills from this forward position. This is so difficult. The AWP is there in Shazam's hands. They have Molotovs, they got flashes, they got smokes, and Nuke just went down. What the hell can you do to get back in? Well, Shocks is pushing forwards. He'll get traded out though.
Body by the car, Smith's by the highway position. That smoke hasn't quite landed as the T's may have liked, and there are frags to be had here for the CT side. Pre-fire towards the forklift, and now Smith knows where Shazam is, who has the line, and as Smith tries to cross Android, maybe reading that, will peek and take him out. 8-0 for compLexity, looking comfortable. What is the ceiling of this team?
I want to see that entry from Ye. Here it is. Wow. From Kenny S's perspective, because we were on Kenny, that was very surprising. That was being able to play in the smoke to get the kill like that as it dissipates.
That's a rough one.
Damn.
And that frag probably changes the course of the round.
Oh, yeah.
0-8. We have a tactical timeout from G2, and you can see the stress is rising.
Yeah.
They try to adjust. We've seen so many rounds where compLexity have just played fast rounds while G2 are trying to set up. We had one where they're in a boost position, and they have Kenya standing over an AWP along with his team. And like, okay, I guess we're going to be here as this push comes in, and it's worked out fantastically well for compLexity. G2 shut them down. They have the forward smoke towards B to stop pushes in that direction. They take main, and compLexity still win around, and in the most frustrating fashion as well. If you go back to that entry frag from Ye. Yeah,
then there's like these rounds where it kind of looks like maybe you can win it, but really you're already in a terrible position, like having to retake onto the A bomb site and so on when the other team has loads of nades. At that point, the round's already gone too far wrong, and this might be too far gone. That's a nice double nade going to the white box position to catch a CT, and it did catch Existence somewhat. It'll take some licks of damage.
That's at least the third time they've done that, which is good.
Yeah.
Because it deters somebody from going there at least early round.
And one cool thing here for compLexity is they're building a very strong T side, and G2 is where I expect to see the strongest performance. Again, as you know, in the past, Existence would come up with all kinds of nonsense to deal with. And G2 have in the past won catch games via that T side alone, but now we might get a good start from them. Shox with a very, very fine angle there. Manages to get the kill somehow. There's an impressive shot, and that's a much needed early round advantage. I say early round. We're moving into the mid round. The minute mark has been hit. compLexity now going for that delayed mid control. They may be committed to a B split here.
A late take of main from Existence, and that will have G2 with the gravitational pull towards the B bomb site. Body making his way in. Smith and Kenya slowly rotating as well. That's the last smoke for the CT side deployed as they try to stop this push. Shox, does he have to flick? Will it be a double peek? 30 seconds remain for compLexity, starting to execute. Could see Molotovs towards the headshot position, for example, but they're not really committing to anything just yet. Existence is still in main. 20 seconds now. Great flick from Shox, and he needs some help. Could be some flashes over the top from the CT's. Body will get traded, and now there's 15 seconds to plant the bomb. We've got a crab walk with the bomb. Stereo frags from the CT's, and they get their first round on the board. 4 players surviving, very crucial as well.
Yeah, and I wonder with compLexity if you want to just mix up the pace now. It was a really slow round. Shox managed to find a pick off here. That is a crazy shot. And then that slowed things right down for compLexity. They were very predictable. At that point, G2 know how it works. You know, you're playing a 5v4. It's late round. Ts often go for that delayed mid take. If you confirm whether it's going to be A or B, you get that push into lockers, a safe push to make. Boom, you know what's going to happen. Easy round for G2. Now, double orbs for G2, Kenius and Shox on the orbs. A mix-up here. And a fast attempt into middle is going to go right as we see... Actually, frags traded back and forwards there, losing Kenius towards the B bomb site.
compLexity continue to pursue that white box position with high explosive grenades. Smith's taking some damage from that, so they get a chunky slice out of that this time. Again, with the mid information, Shox will be left in situ. Stanislaw is under the boost position with the bomb in mid, so compLexity have to have an approach to mid in this situation. 1 minute 10 on the clock, and Existence starts to move in as Smith rotates out. No grenades on Existence, and he'll fall back. Only so much fighting they can do there. Slowly compLexity edge out, and maybe they move into an A-split situation with this bomb. Stanislaw having a look, but again, he is the bomb carrier here, so their lurker in this 4v4 is towards the B bomb site. As you saw, he didn't peek all the way. If there was a sniper, for example, at the back of A, he would not have been blind from that flash, and the bomb would have been lost.
I can see compLexity with not really making too much noise since that early mid attempts. Going for that B push. Looks like G2 are going to be trying to spot this out now, and they have the information. Rotation's not coming in just yet. Still not coming in. And Body has so much to do here. He's going to get caught from the side as the dive through the headshot position will be the end of him. And it's a 2v3 here for compLexity. Down to 15 there. This is going to be very tough to hold this bomb site.
Smith has had a massive impact in this situation. Another Molotov towards a default position. Def, good for one frag, but the Molotov will spread. And I've got Android versus 2 looking for a CT to peek him. And there is a fair argument for the CTs to push this position. He spots one on the site, goes for a fast peek, but he can't quite do it. Smith had a huge play there. Just as he was starting to move, he saw the leg of a player outside the B bomb site. He fell back down the ramp to set up for a flash position, to flash for his teammate on the site. He flashed to his teammates left for 2 peeks, and he got 2 kills through the smoke as well. And almost killed a third player crossing to the site itself. So Smith he played huge there with the flashbang support. He slowed down the push for the T's. He let his teammate get a kill. Got 2 kills through the smoke. Almost killed a third person. He had enormous impact in that round.
So that's 2 rounds now for G2. That's the worst case scenario avoided of that reset, which would just ruin the game probably for G2, especially in this best of 1 situation. We're going to see compLexity now in a position where they really need a bomb plant if they lose this round. That's like a good way to be able to buy in the following rounds, as they have just enough money to do so if they get a bomb plant. So you can see they're actually setting up for it looks like they want to go for a fairly quick A set piece. I'll just see if this will be grenades just to try to trigger reaction from G2, and then they can re-execute on the bomb site later. Looks like that might be the case here, but G2 are not overreacting at all.
A flash towards B. And compLexity will hear that as well. Do they think that the CTs know they have no lurker towards the B bomb site? Do they think the time is limited to execute into A because the CTs are probably rotating? Many questions to be answered as Kenius goes for a flick, but he's blind, moving away from the forward position. Existence charging through the smoke with a flashbang, but the timing is off, and that is a free kill for the T's.
Yeah, a lot of damage to the smoke there from Stan as well. This gets very, very tough now for G2 as they try to make this retake happen. These smokes are deadly. Their complexity of laid down. You can't really push those smokes just yet. And Shazam makes matters worse here for G2 as he takes down Body. Great positioning here from Forklift. Oh, that was close. Got to be very careful. Shox, though, is ready for it. And that's the AWP gone for compLexity, but there's still so many challenges left to be had here.
Yeah, I think this is a save for G2. It was a 2 versus 4, now 2 versus 3, but they don't have position, they don't have time. Now, compLexity are doing really well with their grenades towards A. They're getting that smoke grenade down between the red box and the wall, which really makes it hard for the CTs to have a retake there. It's almost suicidal to go for it. You saw Existence making a play earlier on. I don't know if there was the way he was playing, I think he was running in almost backwards as well. So you have to assume that there was a flashbang timing here. You're going to see it again. So he's going in sideways. I guess there was supposed to be a flash behind his head, but we had a flash pop. I don't know if that was the one, or if he was taking a gamble there. Either way, it didn't work out, and G2 have been reset. And let's not forget, if it wasn't for Smiths having 2 kills through the smoke in the round prior to that one, G2 may not even have the second round on the board. So as bad as it is, it could have even been worse if not for those smoke kills. So compLexity are all over this game of Counter-Strike. It is not even funny. French teams on cash looking like a myth for the moment. North American teams on cash with a UK cameo, #Brexit. Who the hell knows? What is the ceiling of this compLexity gaming side? Those 2 changes, Shazam and Stanislaw added to that roster. Because of Stanislaw's history and Shazam's maturing in his career, you know it was going to be significant, but you couldn't have guessed it might be this significant. And again, compLexity may be one of the last teams that these teams would prepare for. So many big names in this tournament. It is a major after all, but compLexity are shocking people at the moment. And again, we will see during the course of this tournament what their ceiling is. But by no means is this game won. G2 pulling 2 AWPs out of the bag with the rest of their gear. So Android will aim above the arrow, and that will be a smoke to cover the position for the CTs if they're on the site, and they can pop flash through this, as you can see, which makes it really hard to hold the site for the CTs.
Very dangerous stuff here, but much more contested. These 4 positions look working well. Kenny S goes close, battle sniper, but it won't work out. Their depth with that high position, the vantage point as the C4 is tossed across. compLexity in the madness will find that moment of calm to control things and set up this fortified defense on this A site. G2 biding their time. They have struggled retaking this A bomb site, James.
And what do you do now? An AWP and an M4A4. Not ideal for a trade frag situation, and that's the round. That is the round right there. Double figures for compLexity. They moved to 10. Well, G2 tried to hold on to an AWP, but there is absolutely nothing doing for G2 in this game so far.
Damn, what is this compLexity team capable of? How far are they going to go?
Where is the ceiling? Where is the ceiling? They are putting a lot back into those colors of that compLexity logo. It's been a while, but you love to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the oldest and most legendary of the sort of Counter-Strike orgs, brands. Been around forever. I'm sure Mr. Jason Lake is happy with these recent developments. And yes, Def getting some good shots off there. I think Def has been a bit under the weather. I was in the elevator, bumped into him. He said, "Don't come near me. You'll get sick."
Too much handshake, too much handshaking.
Yeah,
and putting fingers in mouths. Because if you see that between rounds, when they're in tactical timeouts, people got their hands all over their mouths, all over their faces, man. That's just the bacteria bonanza. Stop yourselves. Keep your hand away from your mouth. Lots of nail biting going on, just getting all that dirt and crap in your mouth. I don't recommend it. In the meantime, we have compLexity executing into the mid position. G2 has the AWP and not much else. Pots and pans. Shox looking for an entry, but he's got to watch out for Def's pre-fire. Def and Shazam in position. How do they approach this situation? In the meantime, Kenyes has made his way through Squeaky Door, and surely he's going to get picked up soon because he's running and Stanislaw should hear him. Oh! There is eventually a trade. Now what is the reaction from compLexity?
That was kind of nice from Kenny. That's a tough kill to get. The USP knew he didn't have any time and he had to do it then. Oh, this is so awkward here. Will they move into Shox though? Really, Shox is the Bastion here in this round for G2. He's got the support. Smith, my god, just pushing through the smoke, finding a headshot, lightening the load for Shox, but it's still quite the burden as Stanislaw gains information here, and this lurk play from him could be enormous as he looks to flank, and he will flank, and that is body dead. And they're going to go into Shox. This could be a problem. Shox, he is all about these 1v3s, but unfortunately for him and for G2, this will not be one of those rounds.
He has got to be so triggered but at the time where he moves and then he sees the player, because he's almost definitely getting that kill. And he probably sees himself winning the round, or as a 50-50, even in a 1 versus 2 in that situation.
Yeah.
So annoying, but here we are. 2-11. Got to keep the spirits high. Nobody's eliminated for losing this game, but they won't consider it a loss just yet. Now the focus has to be 4 rounds for G2. They've got some utility here. They've got a good buy, all things considered. If we go back to their first buy in this round, it's pretty much the same or similar. And Shock's lucky to get away with that one.
Wow. I like this early round aggression from G2. CT aggression is super important on modern cash, and this map has fallen out of favor. I mean, this has barely been played this major, which is kind of crazy. Oh my god, this push from compLexity, just walking through into checkers. 2 players there. That's dangerous here for G2. I don't know if Body has any info. Spots it now though. Smith will come in, and it's been watched for by Ye. So perfect is Ye. And now Body is feeling the pressure. Has to smoke off the site and flash just to keep himself safe. Another push comes in. And compLexity are ready for almost everything, but not for Shox. Coming in from the back. Maybe he can give G2 a chance now.
You see the awareness from Shox, not going back into mid, dropping a flash there in case someone's trying to trade, moving away, but Stanislaw is the one with the bomb, and he's got all the information. He concealed his position the entire time. He's got the sound cues, 2 versus 3, and he will quickly check that the bomb site is empty. Now Shox looking in mid. Can he deepen a Body towards a car position? It's open season. It can get the post-plant situation going. There's a money for G2, but not much else. They still don't know what's going on, so compLexity, they will make sure no one's on the site. They've given the sound cues away now, which buys extra time for G2 to get back to this site. Only Stanislaw goes to the site itself. Got to be careful because he can be seen from this position. Moving onto the site, the headshot position. They know an AWP is somewhere. Shock's taken down on the flank. Now we've got a 2 versus 2. Android gets his bell rung, but he's still alive. They know where one of these 2 G2 players is. Stanislaw with a very tight angle. And now Kenny's got to try and avoid getting traded with the AWP, but his teammate's miles away. He's in mid. Why is he so far away? But he misses a shot anyway, Kenny. And it's another round in the bag for compLexity.
Oh, that almost went very desperately wrong for compLexity. We could see it. We see that this bomb site is completely empty, and it looks so good for compLexity. Stanislaw but Stanislaw had no idea that it was so empty, and they spent all this time trying to nade it out, and gives G2 so many opportunities to rotate back in after being mistaken about the rotation back to A. But still, really well played by compLexity. They are looking savage right now on this T side. And G2, I'm sure they have a good T side, but they need to get enough rounds here to be able to actually play it. And right now, if they aren't to get any more rounds, losing the pistol round, that could just seal their fate. So they need to make sure that this one goes their way. And they've got a terrible, terrible arsenal in this round to deal with these Ts as they move in onto these bomb sites. Looking like compLexity are playing a very slow default at the moment. Maybe a delayed mid-take in store, and from that you can build into pretty much anything. It seems like they're very wary this round of aggression from G2. And neither team has seen anything yet, and there's been very little pressure from both teams.
It's time to start hoarding compLexity stickers. Or is it? The game is not over yet. Let's not get too excited. Smith's on a scout. Old Faithful towards the B bomb site. Shox will be the first to see something. Now they know that mid is taken. But the compLexity are walking into a crossfire, and with the lurker taken out, maybe Shazam can trade that situation. Well, everything changing quickly. Smith's with a scout kill. 3 versus 2 though on the A bomb site. But Kenny hasn't been seen just yet. Trying to get multiple frags. The transfer is there for him. Sees the first player, the last player on the site. It's Android, 28 HP versus Body. Android, a player held in high regard, and he's good for round number 13 for compLexity, faking, drawing Body out of position and shooting him in the face. 2 rounds for G2 on their CT side.
That was such a big kill from Android. Wow, what a half. Again, Cash can be very T-sided. I think that a lot of teams started to realize how to play that CT aggression to prevent these kinds of scorelines. But this is one of the reasons why I think we see Cash out of favor in the pro scene. It can feel kind of unstable if you start off on that CT side and you don't get a good go of things. And now that's the position G2 are in. They have to summon all their experience, all the grit and determination in the world, James, because they can't lose any rounds. There is no margin for error.
Yeah, forget that. Let's just focus on the pistol rounds. They need to win the pistol round. On the T side with Glocks. And that is, I mean, who knows? You can't really put too much faith into that situation. Some of it is hope. Smith's jump peeking. Keeping an eye on things. Now, other teams will just boost somebody there very quickly so they can just sit in that position. A fast boost on red lets you see a CT running next to the vent position if you can do it fast enough. So there is value in this, especially for those of you at home. Just a fast boost onto spools, from spools rather, onto the box can be fruitful. And now G2 will cut the noise and move towards the A side. It's a retake situation for compLexity. Stanislaw with a kit, and he's playing passively towards B as well. So it's like a double retake for compLexity. And if it was a B play, you'd probably see that retake smoke. But towards A, who knows how he will use it.
Yeah, that's the classic retake smoke you can put as well onto that A-bomb site, which is really useful. We'll see if the plant goes into the open. The open plant, yeah, so the retake smoke that everyone typically knows for A does land on the spot where Kenny has just planted, and it's really important. But wow, death through the smoke. That's a big frag. That really makes things a bit easier here. 5 versus 4 for compLexity as they start to move in, and you can see a smoke is thrown forwards, but not on the bomb itself, but on to the main position. Instead, forcing the T's out into the open here, but they are happy with that situation. They're going to play with one another, and I think that's why, James, you tend to see the smoke go on the bomb instead, because the T's, it's very awkward for them to find engagements if the smoke is on the actual bomb.
Yep. I know Daps is a fan of smoke diffuse, especially on Cash, and it just causes bedlam as well. Everybody dancing around, you can use your teammates to run distraction, and it's interesting because the T's are more inclined to shoot through the smoke than to shoot their opponents, which kind of leaves them more exposed, so it can be very problematic. G2 get the first task out of the way, and now it is anti-force by territory. Def will have the scout in this round, the rest of the team on pistols. Generally, if you buy, as almost everybody does in the pistol round, then you need a kill in that pistol round to have the money for a scout. Speaking of kills, Android off to a good start now. He's the bait. You can see the CTs coming in, expecting the T's to focus on sandbags, trying to catch them, looking elsewhere. There were 3 players there, now there are 2. The scout is still in tow, but no one who's still alive is tagged here for G2.
Ooh. What is that? That's
a lot
dirty.
More than a tag.
That's dirty.
He no longer has a jaw. 3 versus 3. G2 need to make sure these guns are not retrievable by compLexity, and then probably come together and move into a site together. They've got 2 Molotovs, and Shox has picked up a HE from a fallen brethren, so they may be good for an attempt at the A site here.
This is scary right now. 3v3. You've got Def playing quad now with the scout. That's kind of ideal. If they walk in, which they might try to do. Okay, there's some warning for Def. Ooh, he gets a tag. What else can he get here? There's a deagle in play from Android. If he softens them up, that's just one deagle shot away from a frag. This is very scary right now. Def could do so much damage. He's burning though, he's got to make a decision, and he'll go back through the flames. And I don't think he did enough damage here. Android's lining up shots. That's a good one, but he's down to 16 now. Shox can just wait in that position, just use his teammate to shoot Android if he gets close enough to compromise Shox. So Android, I don't think there's any way forwards, and he will indeed get taken out. But that was a scary round for G2.
Yeah, and even scarier with Existence not getting that kill. I mean, he has to get a kill there. He's not having the best of games, currently 3-4-15. So that has to change. And maybe it does. Sometimes you have a nightmare on one half, and the second half is very different, as we've seen in some games today already. But can't have many more scenarios like that. You see how much... He got a pretty reasonable spray in there. And I think it maybe landed 1 bullet. So that has to be the last time that happened, because compLexity have 13 rounds, and that kind of situation can be enough to win or lose a game, or even a match in these best of ones. A round, sorry, or a match.
And it's good to see compLexity as well, you know, on a different map than Inferno, and to see them just so comfortable. That's really awesome to see. That's like one of the things with the best of ones, is that, you know, you can often tend to see, like for example Tai Lu, you know, we've seen him on Inferno and Train basically, but mostly almost entirely for Inferno, I think. And so it's good to see the competence across the map pool.
Yeah, I suppose it was in a previous major where Big's the focus on Big was Inferno, essentially. I won't say Big's focus was, but the focus from other people on them was all about Inferno. Very different this time, of course. Bomb left in T-spawn, bomb collected by Kenny S. Alright then, we've got Kenny S on the Mac 10. He will be looking to farm. Kenny S is in Farming Simulator 2018. Android on the A side, but the rest of compLexity are not far away. They're not really engaging in mid per se because the ranges are not favourable. Ah, they were waiting to burst, and here they are. Existence with the Galil, clearing them up bit by bit, changing his position, trying to avoid the 1v1, but he will eventually go down. However, that's okay because he's buying time for his teammates, cutting down the numbers. And now Smith will move on to the A site on his own as they look for Shazam, who is in that mid position. Is it slightly more money for elimination than a bomb?
Detonation defuse is 3,500. Elimination is 3,250. Yeah, 3,250.
Ah.
So $250 more.
Well, I guess he was due to get eliminated at some point. Well then, here we go. Shazam on the AWP. The rest of the team on M4s. Once again, we see a CC side lose the pistol and have limited utility on their first buy round.
Again, very limited margin for error here for G2. This is a big one. Crash that economy of compLexity. The utility for compLexity is not amazing. Oh, Shazam's position is good though. Will there be flashes as they move in, or will it be a dry one? There is a forward Molotov towards Fork, and Shazam had a couple of chances there. He won't hit any shots, but he won't go down immediately after. Oh, okay, well that does change things. He stays out there. Another attempt, another go of it. He's still firing off shots. He was not connecting, but he is a problem.
There are 4 flashbangs here for the T side. I'd love to see them use some, as they don't really have position. As you saw, there was a flash attempt there for the peak, but the flash flashed a teammate and not the CT, so don't quite know where that went. 4 on 4. Def looking for a late lurk in Squeaky. He needs to make sure no one is there. Is the door open or not? Kenny missing a shot. The door is open and no one's going to focus on his existence. Is completely exposed here, and Def will take him down. And that's another one from Shazam. This is falling apart very quickly. The dream is collapsing, and Shox is alone and 1 versus 4. How many kills is he good for? There's a player on default. He's got so much to do. The smoke is down. The transfer is there. He can jump on the high ground. Does he focus on the bombs? It's still being diffused. Oh my god, Shox is going nuclear. He's got 3 kills. The default's out. Has he wasted enough time though? Oh, yeah, he's won the round. That's ridiculous, Shox. How on earth have you done that?
Oh my god, classic Shox moment. Just diving on top of the container, knows exactly what he has to do at every stage of this clutch. Player into player, knows it has to be a transfer, knows he can't risk going for the taps. Straight onto the bomb plant, never loses focus in an incredibly chaotic situation. That has Shox written all over it. Beautiful. Oh my god, how does he do this? This guy, I'm so glad he's back.
Yeah, I'm so... I don't know, Android going around the smoke. The high ground has to be in your mind in that situation. But it's pretty tough around the smoke as well. But I feel like Shox has to be the one to creep around if he wants to kill the guy who's diffusing deep in default. But here we are.
That's just Shox right there for you as well. Like, he's so scary to play against.
That is a huge round from G2, an unlikely round. Man, and that breaks the money of compLexity in the short term. But of course, they will quickly be moving towards max loss bonus, and they do have some dangerous weapons here. Android has an AK-47, and Def with the scouts.
That's pushing out there onto the site. Android creeping around for the AK. Ooh, big damage from Android. Oh my god, 2 quick headshots, looking for the 3rd one as his players dart around. Oh man, they have no idea, it seems like. Now they absolutely know. And Android's presence, he spots another one running in. The Molotov comes in, but Android is still dangerous. His back is covered by a teammate. He is just staying out here. What a big threat he is in this round. to G2. They're in so much trouble right now. Even though Def just has a scout, Android with that AK is a problem. Finally, though, Body will remove that problem. But Def, we've seen him do some disgusting things with his scout.
That bomb still needs to get planted. It's about to. Planted on the default. Oh, you cannot be serious, Def! He was so close to the second kill there as well. Looking for a weapon. He's picked up an AK-47. Oh my god. Moving around the forklift. Has he been seen by Smith? Smith's moving around. This is ridiculous. How are you doing that in a major?
Why did he? I mean, he didn't pick up the AK, which I was thinking maybe he would just because. So I just don't understand, James. You have an AK.
It's the element of surprise.
Yeah, but it's a scout. You can't expect to make that shot ever. This is how. Oh no, that's the biggest tease. He's got a lovely face, but my god. Oh.
You need to queue up that replay properly again for the next round because, oh my god. The funny thing is, right, the scout is very accurate for no-scopes. It almost always has been in different versions of Counter-Strike as well. If you play it enough, you could confidently headshot somebody from that position.
There's no...
To do that in a major is another thing entirely, but I mean, if you play enough scout, you can just run around and no-scope people from a reasonable range.
That is absolutely mental.
I'm telling you, if you're good enough, you can have confidence that you are probably going to land that shot.
Either way, this is just madness. Right, G2. Playing a slow round, giving everyone a breather from that crazy action we just saw, and maybe things will stabilize here now for compLexity. They're holding onto grenades very well so far. They've got 3 smokes and 4 incendiaries, and we're at the 52nd mark. This is a very late take of middle coming in, and Def is ready to challenge it, takes down Existence, and there is a lot of lean here from compLexity towards this A bomb site with players, and G2 are starting to move much faster towards this B bomb site, which is being given up completely by Android. Do they just want to play retake here? Because that is what they're going to have to do very soon.
I think they're entirely prepared for it. They've got the smokes as well, but they may not have the personnel with Kenny performing in that mid position. And now they start to move in. Still 3 smokes on the compLexity team. Android trying to shoot across, but he doesn't want to expose himself too much for the traces. Now, I fully expect if they choose to go for this, they do have a man disadvantage, but I expect the retake smokes to come in because they're basically positioned for the retake. They would assume the bomb's planted for the vents, and indeed, if you look at Stanislaw, that's going to bounce into the... There you go. The retake smokes around. That's going to force the tease forward. Now, Kenny has some room to play with, but of course, how can he have any idea? The tease Molotov from their position, the flashbang is in, but they're not committing just yet. Second flash, the third flash, and they haven't seen Smith just yet. Gets a frag regardless. Smith doesn't need to see anything to get some frags, and they will get taken out. But you saw the intention from compLexity.
Ooh, this is pretty crazy. Kenny catching 2 there on the rotation, denying the trade kill, that is pretty huge, especially if you can see the fact that he's able to help out at the end there. And the fact that Smith gets a kill fully blind, which is obviously credit to just having good crosshair placement before the flash comes in, and then you can just hold mouse 1 and hope for the best, works out. compLexity, they're getting into some territory here where things are starting to get a bit worrisome, because G2 have, I won't say smoothly been taking rounds. I mean, it's been pretty traumatic in many senses, but they still have some margin for error. compLexity can win 1 round, and even if G2 want to play for overtime, it doesn't really matter at this point. If G2 are gaining this momentum as they are and it continues, compLexity have to be worried. We know how dangerous these French players can be.
So it was Team Spirit versus Prostor. I think at the minors maybe, where they were doing retake smokes like that on the pistol round and so on and so forth, and I made a video about it. But the T-side smokes were pretty cool as well, and Molotov, so definitely look up that video. Prostor, aka Pro 100. Now we have an execute from G2 into the B-bomb site. The smoke needs to dissipate on the site itself, and they've got the Molotov to clear out part of the site, but only half of it. And these are dangerous pistols to deal with as well, and that smoke grenade is a problem. Now G2 are in no man's land because they can't really push the site with that smoke up, so they've got issues here. They've lost 3 players now. This is turning into a disaster. Existence gets his bell rung, and now we've got a flank coming in also. How on earth do they retrieve this? Of course, it's going to be down to Shox. 2 versus 3. Realizes a flank is there. Shox so good with an AK. 35 seconds remaining. Existence is carrying the bomb. If he goes down, where he goes down could be an issue. Shox looking for more flanks, trying to identify where these players are, but they don't have the time really to do this. They're on the high ground with the Desert Eagle now, and Shox is going to take him out as well. Existence moving forward. 20 seconds. Stanislaw's going to have a close quarters advantage. The pistol straight in the face now. 14 seconds. He can hear Shox. Shox has got to dance with him. He's looking for the headshot. Stanislaw, he needs 2 though, and he finds them with the P250. compLexity shut it down.
Massive play from Stan right there at the end. That is huge as well. You know, winning that fight against Shox is never going to be an easy one. But Shazam, what a round to come alive with the 1Deeks. That is beautiful stuff. Wow. So much damage. So much in the way of awkward situations to deal with for G2, and now, you know, losing a round like that just absolutely sucks. And their economy is so unstable despite winning round after round. I mean, we've seen how close they've been. G2 now on 2 CZs, and that is to have utility. And so we'll see if fast play seemingly, or will we? Looks like G2 will take over the lockers area in A main, and they do need to get a lot of value from this utility. There's not much of it. These CZs will want to move first. I'm going to get the run boost there. Ooh, Death saw a foot. That is good information. Preemptively shooting through the door there, expecting the push to come in.
Flash of leg, but he does not want to get his wallets out there. Shox though may take all his money away, creeping past the forklift position, but he doesn't know what lies on the highway, for example, or the car area. He has an angle advantage on the car, sees no one's there for now, but you don't know how things will change. He's waiting for Death to reposition. Surely it's inevitable. There it is, straight in the face. Can't get a 2K though. Will they commit behind this? The smokes are starting to fly in. Shazam has a look, and now he's blind.
Very, very tight stuff here. Oh, that's a bad miss there from Stanislaw. That could have been a good delay on the bomb plant. We'll have to see though if Ye can do that job. Ooh, was he spotted? I think he may have been spotted there from poor position. We'll have to see. Looking for those heads here. Ye in a very dangerous spot. It's a 3v4 here, doesn't want to go down too early. Throws the flash forward for Stan. He's going to close the distance onto Existence. The transfer comes in. It's not good though. Yay, can he finish things off here? Losing Android. No, Kenny will deny him. And G2 will just about, with the 2 CZs and 3 AKs, scrap together the round. And that's a big one. That is very pivotal because compLexity, sure, they won that surprise round, but their money sucks right now.
The struggle for G2 right now is real. Now, we're not really ones to call out a player on the server, but it has to be noted that as far as the fragging power goes, it's basically been 4v5 the entire match as far as G2 is concerned. Obviously, someone like Existence offers a lot more than that. It helps his team get into position and so on with the grenades and the strategy, but this is like really hard for them. They're on the T side, they've got the AKs, he still only has 6 kills in this entire match, and that is an issue, and of course that requires a superhuman effort from Shox, and he's delivering in that regard for the time being. Currently 21 kills for him, leading the server along with Stanislaw, who is leading by example. And that's the thing, there's still Counter-Strike to be played, and it's never too late to turn up, and he can get the impact frags and help take things over the line here. And it's been like some of the post-plant situations have been really scary for G2. Completely exposed to the squeaky door position and just exposed on the boxes near the Reds container. Multiple rounds. But here they are on another anti-eco, and compLexity, they simply seem a better prepared team. They've got things up their sleeves like that smoke you saw near the headshot position. Body taken down early by the one really dangerous gun here for compLexity.
Well, you say that, but there's 3 CZs and a Deagle, so it's and now with a 5v4 and an ability to trade out with those CZs, which are very fast moving, things do get a bit awkward. G2 have middle, but I don't think compLexity cared too much about that. And losing body to that surprise orb, it's a big deal. And I was wondering if they would go for it, because Stan had, everyone in his team had around $2K, but Stan had, I think, 6,500 or something. So this buy really works out for compLexity. Shox now. Oh, the 1v1, important stuff. Able to best Ye there. Is spotted out on the door. What is the read from compLexity though? Shox will continue to try and create pressure towards the safe side and open it up. Oh, Def is going to go in. Oh my goodness, Existence almost going down there.
That was so close, and there's a lot more to do. Shazam still alive with AWP, and that can be collected because Android and Stanislaw are in that same car position. We know Stanislaw can AWP, can Android though. Are they going to commit to this? That AWP is valuable. Smoking off the main position. Now Stanislaw's invested, but Android can still retreat if something goes wrong. He sees the shadow and down goes. Look at stereo frag. Suddenly it's Shox again in a 1 versus 2. If he goes to his right, Shox, his shadow will be seen by Android. Goes to the left and takes out the kill. Double figures for G2. So scary every single round.
The thing is, one of the biggest deals here is that it's so fortunate that Shox is so just left alive.
He's the last man
so consistently, because Shox is one of the best players in the game at clutching. Just one of the best players. You give him a box, you give him some cover to work with, and not only are his reactions incredible, his mechanics incredible, but he understands how to play these situations on jiggles, on fakes, on mind games perfectly, and that is why he's so incredible in the clutches.
This is the fast boost I was talking about in the pistol round. So again, they know complexity on the pistols, and that gives them a lot of information towards mid. You can boost the CT up to go towards events, which SK used to do a long time ago on some rounds, but that does require a lot more time. So fast boost there, you know no one's close left with a CZ or something like that. Very crucial information.
compLexity Pat's looking for a burst. It can be common that, you know, as G2 showed previously, when they went for an anti-eco, or what they thought might be an anti-eco, they went for that quick push, everybody quickly through middle. You can get a 5-man peek or 5-man trade situation when they close into a white box, but you can see that G2 just walked into the bomb side here. So at this point, you know, compLexity's gamble didn't really pay off, unfortunately, and there's only so much you can really do with the USPs. It's all about just trying to gamble stack and have some funky setups, and didn't work out. And G2, they close the distance more and more and more here. compLexity, they've got to be starting to sweat as G2, they just keep making it happen. Round
French
after
teams
round.
on cash, Dan. I told you, French teams on cash, it was never in doubt.
It is still in doubt, though. You've got to be careful. compLexity back at it with a full buy. There's no AWP, but they'll have full utility. And there's actually no defuse kit. That could come back to bite them. We'll have to see.
French teams on cash, man, just waiting for the AKs. Short plays moving towards the B bomb site, trying to catch the teams off guard. Smith's up there. There's no trade. Finally, Kenny has to trade with the AWP. And Body with a crouch peek with the AK-47. Quite a dab hand with an AK as well. Shazam trying to spot players crossing to the site. And the bomb has not made it over just yet. Again, we've got one smoke grenade for compLexity, and they can smoke that position if they go for the normal plant. Let's see. They have to pick the right time, and Body's waiting a lot. The smoke's disappearing, and he hasn't crossed. He's got the bomb, and he's got 12 HP. What do they choose to do? Do they try to boost out of the vents, maybe? Because Ye will surely shut them down. And if they do that, who goes? Do they go with the bomb? And if they do, who carries the bomb? Body's got 12 HP. So many issues now for G2 as they slow things down. Body does have another smoke, though. He can re-smoke this position. Are they even sure at this point that the bomb site is clear? Now, Shox is in a position where he could rotate, and the CTs don't know this. They could still go towards a G2. They're probably not going to, but compLexity don't know that. If G2 wait longer, do compLexity start to move someone towards A? For now, the answer is no.
And Def has a cross, and they're going to go dry, it seems. Make shots come in. There's the jump, make it safe. And that is the bomb across onto the site there. Shox will plant it safely. And once again, very fortunate that Shox is the guy that didn't get absolutely annihilated by that 1 HE at the beginning of the round that seemed to decimate the rest of his team, and maybe it'll come down to him again. We'll have to see. compLexity have time here, and only 3 flashbangs at this point, and in those flashbangs go, and here it is, combine the push. Ye wins the battle in checkers. Kenny S now dealing with that. Shox goes down on the bomb site. It's up to Kenny S now. 46 HP, the pressure's on, the defuse comes in. There is no kit, it's still being held. 5 seconds to go, and Kenny can't defeat Ye. And so it will be safe. compLexity move to 15.
There it is, match point. G2 have plenty of money. Now, if G2 win this round, compLexity have practically no money, and G2 will only be 3 rounds behind. So this is, it's entirely plausible that G2 take this to overtime. This is a big opportunity for them. Again, they have to focus on that. Never mind that they lost the round, never mind that it's match point. 1 round at a time, 1 round 4 times. That has to be the focus for G2. They have a full buy apart from Body on a Galil. Everybody else is all good in the hood, but maybe it's compLexity's hood. We'll soon find out. Molotov towards the boost position, and it seems G2 will start slow.
Deep breath here for G2. Full nades at least. You got to ask yourself, you know, what do they think is their best chance to win a round, because they need to crush that economy of complexity. No foot can go wrong at this point for G2. Complexity, they need to hold their nerve as a team that is not as experienced at this level of CS at a major as well, of all things. Closing is another story entirely, and that's obviously what they are going to be focusing on right here. Delayed mid-take. Oh, but look at this. We've got 3 men towards the white box. Maybe Complexity want to make a fight of this.
Shazam considering a peek, maybe waiting for a flash. I think that might have been a team flash, but Stanislaw still having a look, but not over-committing. Not showing to a player who is in Kenny's position. Meanwhile, we've got teased towards that vent area. Now, if they jump on the box, their heads will be exposed. The CTs know that. They can be peeked from Z Connector or from Stanislaw's position. But he'll be forced away now into the smoke, into the ether. 4 players on the A site for these CTs. And look at this split from G2. They've got numbers all over the place. It's going to be a 3-pronged assault, but there's a crossfire for the CTs. They've got players on a high ground in 2 directions, and this just might be enough. Shots with 3 HP and a 1 versus 4 with 15 seconds. Not this time. 16-11. Complexity with the upset, it has to be said, over G2.
Yeah, it was always a hard match to call, so little sample size really for both teams. And Complexity, as you say, we don't know how far they can go, and they can continue to show that they've got the goods here. A well-rounded game brought